Kita Park stood at the window of the International Space Station, watching the blue planet below. Earth looked peaceful from up here, but he knew better. Their world was anything but peaceful. It was a battleground of evolution, where only the strongest survived. The space station's alert system broke the silence. Unknown vessels approaching. First contact protocol initiated. Kita's heart raced as he hurried to the main control room. After years of wondering if humans were alone in the universe, they finally had their answer. 3 sleek ships, unlike anything made on Earth, glided toward the station. The main screen lit up with a face that looked almost human, but not quite. The alien had pale purple skin and large dark eyes. "Greetings, Earth Station. I am Scout Commander Erix of the Galactic Council. We come in peace." Keita and the other scientists watched in amazement as more aliens appeared on screen. They spoke perfect English, explaining that they had been watching Earth for some time. Now they wanted to meet. Hours later, Keita sat in a meeting room with the aliens. They had brought amazing technology that could scan entire planets. But as they looked at Earth's data, their faces showed growing concern. "This cannot be right," one alien scientist said, checking the readings again. "The gravity is too high. The temperature changes are too extreme. The number of different species is impossible." Keita looked at the data. To him, it seemed normal, just regular information about Earth. But the aliens kept shaking their heads in disbelief. "You live here?" Commander Erix asked, pointing at the screen. "With all these dangerous animals, with such powerful storms, with these diseases?" "Yes," Keita answered simply. "This is our home." The aliens whispered among themselves. They showed Keita pictures of their own worlds. Peaceful places with perfect weather, carefully controlled environments, and very few animal species. No predators, no extreme weather, no dangerous plants. "We must inform the Council immediately," Commander Erix said. "This is unprecedented. A Class 13 death world supporting intelligent life. Impossible." Within days, more alien ships arrived. The news spread quickly across Earth. We were not alone, and apparently, we were very different from everyone else. Hannah Lee, Earth's newly appointed diplomatic representative, stood before the Galactic Council 2 weeks later. The grand meeting hall floated in space near Jupiter, built by the aliens in just days. Hundreds of different species watched as she spoke. "Yes, Earth is dangerous," Hannah said confidently, "but it made us strong. Every challenge we faced helped us grow. Every problem we solved made us smarter." The council members muttered in disagreement. One stood up, a tall being with silver skin. "Your species evolved through random chance and violence. We achieved perfection through careful planning and genetic control. How can we trust creatures shaped by such chaos?" Keita stepped forward then, carrying his research data. "Let me show you something interesting," he said. He displayed images of Earth's history, how life began in the oceans, how it changed and adapted, how each new challenge led to new solutions. "Look at this," he said, showing them human DNA. "See how adaptable it is, how many different environments we can survive in. That's not chaos, that's success." The council chamber erupted in debate. Some were fascinated by Earth's unique evolution. Others were terrified. A species that evolved on a death world. What other surprises might they have? As the arguments continued, Song-Yi Choi, Earth's leading xenobiologist, made an important discovery. She had been studying the aliens' biology and found something surprising. "Their genetic code is too perfect," she told Keita and Hannah privately. "They engineered out all the parts they thought were useless. But those parts, they're backup systems, emergency adaptations, things that help you survive when conditions change." Keita understood immediately. The aliens had made themselves perfectly suited for their controlled worlds. But if anything changed, if their environments shifted even a little, they wouldn't be able to adapt. The council meetings continued for days. Earth's representatives showed more and more evidence of how their chaotic evolution had created strength, not weakness. They explained how Earth's harsh conditions had pushed humans to become problem solvers, adaptable to change. Think about this, Hannah said to the council on the final day. You see our world as dangerous because it's not controlled. We see it as the perfect training ground. Every challenge made us better. Every obstacle taught us something new. Some council members began to understand. Others remained afraid. But they couldn't deny the facts. Humans had survived and thrived on a world that should have been impossible to live on. As Kita prepared to return to Earth, Commander Eric stopped him. Your world scares us, the commander said honestly. But it also amazes us. Perhaps we have something to learn from Earth after all. The first contact period was ending, but Kita knew this was just the beginning. Earth would be watched carefully now. Some would fear them, others would study them, but everyone would have to accept them. Because Earth wasn't just another planet anymore. It was the death world that created humanity. The species that evolved through fire and flood, through ice ages and mass extinctions, through every challenge nature could throw at them. And they hadn't just survived. They had thrived. As Kita looked out at the stars from the station one last time, he smiled. The galaxy was about to learn an important lesson. Sometimes the hardest path creates the strongest travelers. The aliens had achieved perfection through control. Humans had achieved strength through chaos. And now, these two very different paths were about to meet. #Nobody feared evolution until Earth became the DEATHWORLD. The # Part 2. Confrontation. 3 months after first contact, Do-Young Kim noticed something wasn't right. As Earth's top military advisor, he had been watching the alien ships carefully. More and more of them were appearing near Earth's solar system, and they weren't just science vessels anymore. Look at these readings, Do-Young said to Hannah Lee in the New Earth Defense Center. He pointed to a screen showing dozens of alien ships. They're military vessels. They're trying to hide it, but I can tell by their design. Hannah frowned. She had spent weeks talking with the Galactic Council, trying to build trust. But some council members still saw Earth as a threat. How many ships? She asked. Over 200 now, Do-Young answered, and more coming every day. Meanwhile, in the International Space Laboratory, Song Yi-Choi made an alarming discovery. She had been studying samples from different alien species, comparing them to human DNA. What she found was troubling. Kita, you need to see this, she called to her colleague. Kita Park walked over to her microscope. Look at their genetic structure. It's too perfect, too controlled. They've removed all the messy parts of their DNA. Kita studied the samples. But those messy parts are what let us adapt to new situations, he said. Without them, they can't change. Song Yi finished. They can't evolve anymore. They're stuck exactly as they are. The situation got worse when High Counselor Eriks called an emergency meeting. Hannah and Kite attended through a holographic link. The council chamber was filled with angry voices. We've analyzed the data further, Eriks announced. Earth's evolution is not just unusual. It's dangerous. Their species can adapt to new situations in just a few generations. They can survive conditions that would kill any normal species. They're unpredictable. More council members stood up, shouting their agreement. They showed pictures of Earth's predators, its extreme weather, its countless dangerous plants and animals. To them, everything about Earth seemed violent and scary. We must contain this threat, Eriks declared, for the safety of all civilized species. Back on Earth, Do-Young watched as more alien ships arrived. They were trying to surround Earth without being obvious about it, but Do-Young had spent his life studying military strategy. He knew what a blockade looked like. We need to prepare, he told Earth's leaders. Not for war, but to show strength. If they think we're weak, they'll attack. If they think we're strong, They'll talk. Humans began building their first space fleet. They used some of the technology the aliens had shared, but they added their own ideas. The aliens had built perfect ships for perfect conditions. Humans built ships that could handle anything. In the lab, Song-Yi made another discovery. She found out why the aliens were so afraid of Earth's evolution. Their own worlds were dying. Their perfect evolution has become their weakness, she explained to Kita. Their worlds are changing, getting warmer or colder or different in other ways, but they can't adapt anymore. They can only survive in the exact conditions they designed themselves for. Keita understood the real problem then. They're not just afraid of us, he said. They're afraid we'll prove them wrong. They spent thousands of years making themselves perfect. But our messy evolution might be better in the long run. Taho Kang, who commanded Earth's new space fleet, started running practice missions. He noticed something interesting. Human pilots could handle situations the alien ships couldn't. When conditions weren't perfect, humans found ways to adapt. The aliens' perfect systems often failed. Our strength isn't that we're stronger or faster, Taho told his pilots. Our strength is that we can change. We can adapt. We can find new solutions. The tension kept building. More alien ships arrived every day. But Earth didn't back down. They kept building their fleet, kept studying the aliens' technology, kept preparing for whatever might come. Then something unexpected happened. A group of younger aliens, led by a scientist named Mira, came to Earth in secret. They wanted to learn about natural evolution. Our worlds are dying, Mira told Kitai and Song-Yi. Our perfect evolution has become a trap. We need to learn how to change again, how to adapt. We need to learn from Earth. This news split the Galactic Council. Some wanted to attack Earth before humans could grow stronger. Others wanted to learn from Earth before it was too late. The situation reached a breaking point when Supreme Evolution Director Nexer announced a plan. We will correct their chaotic evolution, he declared. We will make them perfect, like us, for their own good. But Hannah Lee stood up in the council chamber and gave a powerful speech. You call our evolution chaotic, she said. We call it successful. You removed the parts of your DNA that you thought were messy. We kept them, and they made us strong. You made yourselves perfect for a perfect world. We made ourselves ready for anything. As she spoke, reports came in from across the galaxy. More alien worlds were showing signs of change. Their perfect environments were shifting. Their perfect species couldn't adapt. The story was reaching a turning point. The galaxy had to choose: stick with their perfect, controlled evolution, or learn from Earth's chaotic but successful path. Do Young kept watching the alien ships, ready for anything. Kitai and Song-Yi kept studying, looking for ways to help both humans and aliens, and Hannah kept trying to build bridges between Earth and the stars. Because now they all knew the truth. Evolution wasn't about being perfect. It was about being ready to change. Supreme Evolution Director Nexer sat in his private chamber, looking at the glowing screen before him. The plan was ready. After months of preparation, he would finally fix the human problem. Their chaotic evolution had gone on long enough. Begin the operation, he commanded. Across Earth's atmosphere, thousands of tiny pods released an invisible spray. Nexer's scientists had created it to improve human DNA, to make it more like the controlled, perfect genetics of other species. They thought it would take only days to work. They were wrong. Hita Park was in his laboratory when the first reports came in. Something strange is happening, Song-Yi told him, rushing into the room. The alien spray that was supposed to change our DNA. Our bodies are fighting it. Keita looked through his microscope at the new samples. What he saw amazed him. Human DNA wasn't being changed by the alien spray. Instead, it was getting stronger. This is incredible, he said. Our messy DNA isn't a weakness. It's a defense system. The more they try to change us, the stronger we become. In space, Tahoe Kang noticed something was wrong. The alien ships were moving closer, forming attack positions. They had expected the humans to be weakened by their DNA spray. Instead, humans were becoming more resilient. All ships, battle stations, Tahoe ordered. He didn't want to fight, but he would protect Earth if he had to. The first attacks came suddenly. Alien ships fired strange weapons designed to disable Earth's defenses. But human pilots, with their ability to think creatively and adapt quickly, found ways to avoid them. They fight like machines, one pilot reported. Perfect formation, perfect timing. But when we do something unexpected, they don't know how to respond. Do-Young Kim watched the space battles from Earth's defense center. He noticed patterns in the alien attacks. They always followed the same strategies, the same perfect plans. They couldn't improvise, couldn't adapt to new situations. Their perfect evolution has made them predictable, he told Hannah Lee. They can't think outside their programming. Meanwhile, in hidden laboratories across the galaxy, Mira and her group of rebel aliens were making shocking discoveries. The more they studied Earth's chaotic evolution, the more they realized how important it was. Look at this, Mira told her followers, showing them Earth's history. Their species has survived ice ages, asteroid impacts, massive climate changes. They don't just survive, they come back stronger. The crisis grew worse when some alien worlds began to experience severe problems. Their carefully controlled environments were breaking down. Species that had been engineered to be perfect couldn't handle the changes. Help us, they called to Earth. Our worlds are dying. Our perfect species can't adapt. Song Yirai and Kita worked day and night, studying both human and alien DNA. They made an amazing discovery. The parts of human DNA that looked messy and chaotic weren't random at all. They were backup systems, emergency adaptations, tools for survival that had evolved over millions of years. Every time our ancestors faced a crisis, our DNA kept a record, Song Yai explained to the Galactic Council. Every survival trick, every adaptation, every solution. It's all still there in our genes, ready to be used when needed. But Supreme Evolution Director Nexar wouldn't listen. He launched more attacks, tried more ways to fix human DNA. Each attempt failed, and each failure made humans stronger. Tahoe's space fleet proved that humans' ability to adapt wasn't just in their DNA. It was in everything they did. Human ships could fight in any conditions. Human pilots could think creatively in battle. Human engineers could fix problems no one had seen before. You made yourselves perfect for a perfect universe, Tahoe told a captured alien commander. We made ourselves ready for a universe that's never perfect. The turning point came when 3 alien worlds faced complete collapse. Their environments had changed too much, and their perfectly evolved species couldn't survive anymore. Millions of lives were at risk. Earth's leaders called an emergency meeting. Despite the attacks, despite the attempts to change them, humans decided to help. We evolved on a world that tried to kill us every day, Hannah told the Galactic Council. We learned how to survive anywhere, how to adapt to anything. Now we can teach others to do the same. Keita and Song Yid led teams of scientists to the dying worlds. They found ways to wake up dormant genes, to restart the evolution that had been stopped for so long. It wouldn't be quick, and it wouldn't be easy, but it would work. Nexar watched in disbelief as his perfect plan fell apart. The species he had tried to fix was now saving others from the trap of perfect evolution. More and more aliens came to Earth to learn, to study, to understand how natural evolution had created such resilience. Our strength isn't in being perfect, Kita explained to a group of alien scientists. Our strength is in being able to change, to adapt, to become whatever we need to be to survive. The crisis wasn't over, but everything had changed. Earth wasn't just a death world anymore. It was a teacher, showing the galaxy a different path. A path where strength came from change, where survival meant adaptation, where the chaos of natural evolution created something better than perfection. As the story moved toward its conclusion, one thing became clear: the galaxy would never be the same. The species that everyone had feared, that had evolved on a death world through chaos and struggle, was about to change everything. 1 year after first contact, the galaxy faced a choice. More and more worlds were changing. The perfect environments that alien species had created were breaking down. Their carefully controlled evolution had left them unable to adapt. In the Great Council chamber, Hannah Lee stood before representatives from 1,000 worlds. The chamber was different now, no longer perfect and clean. Some parts were broken. The temperature controls didn't work right. It was uncomfortable, but that was the point. "This chamber represents our galaxy now," Hannah said. "Things are changing. The perfect worlds you built are becoming imperfect. You can either learn to adapt, or you can die." Keita Park and Song Yi Choi had spent months studying what was happening. They discovered that the galaxy itself was changing. Stars were getting hotter. Planets were moving in their orbits. Space itself seemed to be becoming more chaotic. The universe was never meant to be perfect, Keita explained to the council. It was meant to change. That's why Earth's evolution worked so well. We never tried to make things perfect. We just learned to handle whatever came next. Supreme Evolution Director Nexer had lost most of his power, but he made one last attempt to fight back. "Look at their world," he shouted to the council. "Look at their violent evolution. Their predators, their diseases, their constant struggles. Is that what you want?" But then Mira, the young alien scientist who had first come to Earth for help, stood up. "I have lived on Earth for 3 months now," she said. "Yes, it is dangerous. Yes, it is chaotic. But look at what that created. A species that can survive anything, that can think in new ways, that can help others survive too." Do Yum Kim reported that the alien ships around Earth were leaving. Not to attack, but to help their own worlds. They had finally understood that Earth wasn't a threat. It was a teacher. Tahoe Kang's space fleet had a new mission now. Instead of defending Earth, they were helping alien worlds. Human ships could handle the changing conditions in space. Human crews could think of new solutions to new problems. They became known as the Evolution Fleet, bringing help wherever it was needed. Song Yi made another important discovery during this time. She found that human DNA could help other species remember how to evolve. "Your ancestors knew how to adapt," she told groups of alien scientists. "That knowledge is still in your DNA, just sleeping. We can help wake it up." The process wasn't easy. Some species had been perfect for so long that learning to change was painful. But they had no choice: change or die. That was the law of evolution that Earth had never forgotten. Keita worked with alien children, teaching them about natural selection and adaptation. He noticed something wonderful. Young aliens learned quickly. They weren't afraid of change like their parents. They were excited about it. "Evolution isn't just about survival," he told them. "It's about becoming better. Every challenge is a chance to grow stronger." Hannah Lee negotiated Earth's new role in the galaxy. Humans would be teachers, helpers, guides for species that needed to remember how to evolve. Earth would be a training ground, a place where other species could learn to handle chaos and change. "But we have rules," she told the council. "No more trying to make things perfect. No more controlling evolution. Nature knows what it's doing. We just have to trust it and learn from it." The galaxy began to change. Aliens modified their worlds, making them a little more challenging, a little more chaotic. They stopped trying to control every part of their environment. They let nature work the way it was supposed to. Some species began to show signs of natural evolution again. It was slow at first, small changes, tiny adaptations, but it was working. Life was remembering how to change. Do Young helped create new defense systems that could handle chaos and change. "The best defense isn't perfect walls," he taught. "It's being able to adapt when the walls break." Tahoe's evolution fleet grew as other species joined. They learned Earth's ways of handling problems, not by following perfect plans, but by thinking creatively and adapting to each situation. A year after the crisis began, Kita stood in his laboratory on Earth, looking at samples from 100 worlds. Each one showed signs of evolution starting again. Each one showed life remembering how to adapt. "We did it," Song Ye said, standing beside him. "We taught them how to survive." The final council meeting was held on Earth, the first time the council had ever met on a death world. The aliens were nervous at first. Earth's gravity was strong, its air thick, its temperature changing all the time. But that was the point. "Welcome to reality," Hannah told them. "It's not perfect, it's not controlled, but it's alive, and it's strong, and it knows how to survive." The galaxy had learned its lesson. Perfect evolution was a dead end. Real strength came from facing challenges and adapting to them. Earth, the death world that everyone had feared, had become the galaxy's greatest teacher. As Kita watched the sun set on that historic day, he thought about how far they had come. Humans had gone from being feared as death world monsters to being respected as evolution's guardians. "What's next?" Song Ye asked him, watching the stars appear. Kita smiled. "That's the best part," he said. "We don't know." And that's exactly how it should be. Because in the end, that was what Earth had taught the galaxy. The future didn't need to be perfect. It just needed to be possible.